1 million.
Na bila shaka nataka tuelekee sasa katika mahakama ya Milimani ambapo mwenzangu Fred Kagonyi yuko pale kufuatilia kesi ambayo imewasilishwa na naibu rais aliyebanduliwa Rigathi Gachagua. Lakini fahamike leo kuna masuala ambayo yanatarajiwa kufikishwa katika mahakama hiyo ambapo ni kubaini ile hoja ambazo zinawasilishwa pale, ombi ambalo ni la mwanasheria mkuu Dorcas Oduor kutaka kwamba bunge la kitaifa linalenga kuondolewa maagizo yale ya kuapishwa kwa Kithure Kindiki, na kuna baadhi ya maagizo mengineo pia. Tunafahamu kwamba upande wa Gachagua ulienda katika mahakama ya rufaa. Kipi kinajiri leo hii na kipi ambacho tunakitarajia katika mazungumzo haya ya leo ama katika kesi hii ya leo, Fred Kagonye?
Asante sana Suleiman Yeri. Tuko katika mahakama kuu hapa Milimani ambapo kesi inayo naomba tu kwanza niendelee kwa lugha ya Kimombo. We are the Milimani Law Court where at the High Court, that is where a three-judge bench has been sitting to hear petitions challenging the ouster of impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. And today, the matter that is before them is the lifting of conservatory orders that have barred the swearing in of Interior CS Kithure Kindiki as Gachagua's replacement. Now I'm joined by one of our learned friends here. He's called Shadrack Wamboi, and he'll be giving us some insights into what we expect today and about the proceedings at the Court of Appeal, because we know that Gachagua's team has gone at the Court of Appeal. So thank you very much, Wakili, for joining us today. For starters, yes. Today we were the issue that was before the three-judge bench, that is Eric Ogola, Dr. Frida Mugambi, and Anthony Chaumurima, was the lifting of conservatory orders. Will that take place given that your team, that is Gachagua's team, has already gone to the Court of Appeal?
Well, thank you. Now, for the benefit of the viewers and the listeners at home, today we are here after we were given directions last week on Friday so that we can come. Number one, the order of the business for today is so that we can make arguments in support of the conservatory orders that had been initially given to reinstate the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua back to office. So there are certain directions that were given last week that are also very fundamental, because what the judges said is that the application that had been filed by the Office of the Attorney General to have the conservatory orders lifted will serve as a response to our application that we filed seeking these conservatory orders to be issued pending the hearing and determination of the petition. So that is why we are here. But over and above that, I know for a fact that there is already an appeal that has been filed before the Court of Appeal. And today we are expecting that my president, my Lord Justice Musinga of the Court of Appeal, is going to empanel a bench that is going to hear and determine some of these questions. Remember, the very authority of the court that we appear before this morning is under attack. There has been questions as to how they were actually given birth to, because the Constitution proposes a way of giving birth to a bench to hear and determine questions that, constitutional questions that are very weighty as per the Constitution. And as we know, we had the Deputy Chief Justice who had this bench empaneled. But there is a constitutional question, and this question has been a very stubborn question, because this is not the very first time it is coming up. We had in the Conchella decision, the same issue arose, and then we had the Court of Appeal staying the proceedings of the lower court for the reasons that is a very noble question. It's a novel question as to whether the Deputy Chief Justice can in fact empanel a bench to hear and determine matters that raise very weighty constitutional questions. Yes.
So now my question then would be, we don't have information yet whether the President of the Court of Appeal has already selected a bench that will hear your application. So does it have any effect on the proceedings today before the High Court?
Not at all. It does not have any effect. Remember, this court acts with certain authority that flows from the Constitution. So until and unless they get a superior order or an order from a superior court, be it now the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court, then that is the only time when these proceedings can stop. Otherwise, there is nothing that prevents this court from proceeding. That is why, as you can see, counsels are just streaming in. We'll be ready to make arguments in support of the application to have the the decision of the Senate stopped for the time being until some of these constitutional questions are determined. Remember, the call to the Honorable Court is for us just to have things proceed as they were until certain questions have been determined. there are two ways in which this thing can end. One, the court can affirm the decision that has been made or was made by the National Assembly and the Senate. And for that reason, the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will stand impeached. Secondly, there is a way in which this court has the power, after relooking and reviewing the process that led to the impeachment of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, then it has powers to say that the process that happened either at the National Assembly was unconstitutional, or the process that happened at the Senate was unconstitutional, or the very decision of proceeding in the absence of the Deputy President during the hearings at the Senate were unconstitutional. So if the court arrives at that conclusion, then it means it is going to set aside the decision that was made by the senators confirming the impeachment of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. So there are very far-reaching consequences ultimately. So the invitation now is to tell the court, wait, let us stop everything. Let us just return everything as it were, as you investigate this thing. If it so happens that you now say the impeachment was correct or was proper, then Rigathi Gachagua goes home to his home in Karatina, and then we continue with life. If the court is to find that indeed that process was characterized by brags and violations of the law, then to that extent, then it will mean that we proceed with where we were. Remember, the reason why we are in court is just to urge the court to help us in promoting tolerance amongst, the leadership that we have in the country. It is really not about Gachagua. It is really about the constitutionalism, the protection about the constitution and the posterity of the Republic of Kenya. Yes.
Thank you very much, Wakili, for your wonderful insights. So back to you in studio, that has been lawyer Shadrack Wamboi, who's one of the lawyers representing Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, giving us some insights into what was likely to happen here at the High Court, and also insights into what might happen at the Court of Appeal, because we already know the Deputy President had already gone to the Court of Appeal to challenge the decision of the 3-judge bench sitting here at the High Court on their empanelment. And as we know, as of now, the President of the Court of Appeal is yet to empanel a bench that will listen to that appeal.
Na bila shaka huyo ni mwenzangu Fred Kagonya ambaye amekuwa katika mahakama za Milimani, kazungumza naye wakili Shadrack Wamboi kuhusiana na kile ambacho kinatarajiwa asubuhi hii leo katika mahakama hiyo, ikiwemo lile ombi kutoka kwa upande wa serikali likitaka kwamba ile hoja ama ile kuzuiwa kwa kuapishwa kwa Kithure Kindiki iweze kuondolewa, na kwamba serikali hii iweze kuendelea na shughuli zake za kawaida kwa sababu kuna mkwamo katika shughuli za serikali. Lakini kwanza nataka tupate pumziko fupi. Tukirudi tutakuja kuangazia taarifa nyinginezo, na vile vile tutakuwa tukisikia kauli za mawakili wengine na hisia za wananchi katika maeneo mbalimbali ya taifa hili la Kenya. Usende mbali mtazamaji.